We're here in North Pinjarra and we're running some soil health workshops for the locals.
So Mark went through how we can create good black organic soils and actually maintain them when we're growing crops, when we're growing veg and fruit, and also livestock. Really good.
And we've been getting some information about soil biology and understanding the benefits that promoting good soil biology can have for a range of farming systems.
I guess the thing is, if we want to be able to move towards a place where we're using less fertilisers, then it's really biology that we need to count on, because it's living organisms, so they're things that can actually organise things in the soil. Initially, it was just the fundamentals of soil health and sort of how to build a fertile soil and a functional soil, and a big focus on biology, because, you know, that's a big player in creating an ongoing functional soil, you know, all the processes that build soil.
But most of all, trying to maintain organic cover and building up that big black carbon sponge, as he called it.
And how some of this information can be integrated to really contribute to the whole system, and from that sustainable perspective, a longevity of system that's successful over the long term.
We used to think plant could only absorb soluble ionic nutrients, but what he's found is that they can actually absorb whole bacteria compounds like proteins and things like that from the soil. And then we've sort of gone more now in this session into the practices that farmers can implement. So whether it's cover cropping or how we graze, you know, the way we apply fertiliser, all of these things can have an impact on the biological activity in the soil, basically. They've found that it doesn't matter whether you're organic, conventional, whatever you are, the actual nutrient density in terms of the markers they've found, it's not that different. But when they test the respiration, which is the soil biological activity, they're finding that where there's greater soil activity, there's multitudes more nutrient density in that food. People have to go away, and if they're really keen to follow this path, you know, you would probably set aside an area of your property, and I think it's a good idea to get some help initially, and, you know, just some advice, because there are a lot of nuances to it.
We do need to get a few soil samples to discover what we need to amend our soils, and it isn't necessarily about using chemicals or pesticides. It's also about building that biology in the soil and keeping it alive.
Synthetic fertilisers and the like are probably still going to be really necessary, particularly on the broad scale, but how can we really support soil biology that's got such a critical factor in contributing to a successful system and a sustainable system?
And not just do it over the whole farm is really important. I think, you know, if you've got an area where you can afford to play around, and it doesn't matter economically if it doesn't work that season, and you might learn some things that work and some that don't, and then you can apply that on a wider basis as you start to get more confident about what's going to work in your context. When you don't put enough animals on the land, they selectively graze, and they take the good plants right down to the ground, but you've still got plants that are this high, and you're like, oh, you know, they say you should move it at 10 centimetres, but it's actually, if you can get the mob in there and really graze it all down and then get them out. So often overgrazing is actually understocked because you haven't got enough animals in there to do it quick enough and get them out, basically. And then after this session, we'll actually do some practical stuff. We're going to mix up some compost extracts and look at some cover crop seed and maybe make up some foliar nutrient sprays and things like that. So stuff that people can actually sort of do at home. Put that in your backpack sprayer, and if you go on your citrus trees or your veggie garden or whatever.
Events like this are so important because it helps all of us in the urban setting, the peri-urban setting and the rural setting actually green our cities and our country, and also help with our food security and our pollinator security, because pollinator security is food security.
I think events like this are really important to bring people together, to give them an opportunity to learn something a bit different, to build on knowledge that they might already have and extend it a bit further, discuss their ideas with different people who are looking to try different things, but have a similar mindset.
You know, there's a lot of stuff online. There's heaps of stuff and in books these days. But, you know, it's one thing reading a book, but there's lots of nuances to all of these things, and getting them right is pretty important. So just helping people avoid all the mistakes that we've made over the years. And, you know, the takeaway message from the workshop is, in order to create healthy soil, you've got to grow plants. So this is our chance to do it, and plants are soil builders. So now's the time.